Picking precision can be quite difficult, especially when we only have to play one note per string. But there's a legendary John Petrucci riff that helps us in a musical and fun way to unlock your picking precision. And I'm of course talking about the intro section of Glasgow Kiss. Here we go. Hey Guitar Champion, what's going on? I'm 𝗚𝗚𝙦𝗚𝗚 back from my practice dojo and welcome to today's video. Yes, in today's video we're not only going to learn the intro lick of John Petrucci's Glasgow Kiss, but also we're going to practice it together because I've created a workout for this intro riff in 6 levels. No, that's 7. 6 levels, from beginner, really slowly, really easy, over intermediate to master. We're even going to play this section faster than the original. 5 times for each level, because when you can play a lick like this 5 times in a row without making any mistake, you are ready for the next level. Don't forget to download the tabs for this section, plus the 6 backing tracks for each individual level that you can practice in your own pacing and in your own tempo in the link in the description box. There you can get it for free. And now let's check out first some general rules for picking precision, then learning that section together, and then practicing it together. Here we go. So let's talk about one of a few key principles that we need in our right hand to achieve more picking precision. The first rule, especially for sections like this, is don't pick out of your arm. You don't have any precision or any control over small and fine movements when you're trying to pick out of your arm. If you want to know why, then feel free to download my free ebook called The Biomechanics of Speedpicking. This is an absolute nerd book, and there I explain why certain rules are so important for our picking on a biomechanical level. The next thing, we just have to take a look that we're not anchoring our fingers like this, and of course not extending the fingers like this, because that is against the AUCE concept, avoiding unnecessary consumption of energy. More again about this in the biomechanics of speed picking. Now, I use pick slanting because, yeah, we need pick slanting to have the tip of the pick always free in the air. Otherwise, we would be stuck between the strings and we would hit strings even though that we don't want to hit those strings. And now I'm using something that I call the snap movement. So every time I do a pick stroke, I not only go into this direction, the adduction of the wrist, but I also go slightly into the forearm rotation. And by that, I go into the pick slant. So it's not only this, it's a combination out of this and this. Every time I have a downstroke, I have to use upward pick slanting, and every time I have an upstroke, I have to use downward pick slanting. Do you want to shred guitar like this? But it actually sounds more like this. Well, one of the biggest reasons why we won't make any progress on shredding the guitar is that we don't have a good practice routine. All the free content on YouTube is confusing us, and it's not really hard to know how to practice, but also what. And therefore, I created the Gateway to Shred. Hi, I'm 𝗚𝗚𝙦𝗚𝗚𝗚, your shred coach for the next 30 days. The Gateway to Shred was designed to transform your playing in only 30 days. For the upcoming 4 weeks, we will have 1 lesson every day. And in those lessons, I will show you the perfect practice routine, how to boost your right hand speed picking technique, how to achieve incredible finger independency, and in the end, we have a big solo where we can test ourselves. Are we ready for the world of shred? And I can assume to you, yes, you will be ready to shred. Unlock your shred potential in only 4 weeks. Here's what we learn. In week 1, we have 1 lick, but 6 cool methods to master that lick. I will show you different tactics to spice up your practice routine so that working on your skills will never be boring again. In week number 2, it's all about the left hand. Develop left hand precision, finger independency, and speed with some laser focus exercises. Week number 3, we are going to master a right hand picking technique for an effortless but fast playing. Finally start to understand terms like pick slanting, inside picking, outside picking, string skipping, and much more. In week number 4, we apply everything in a killer solo to see how it can all come together in a musical context. great thing about this is you only need 15 minutes every day. No, the gateway to shred will not make you the next 𝗏𝗏𝗦𝗏𝗏, John Petrucci, and 𝗏𝗏𝗦𝗏𝗏, but it will give you a guidance, a strategy, a blueprint on how you can evolve your playing in the future with self-confidence, with control, and with ease. Never struggle again with YouTube content that is misleading. Now you have the plan to boost your playing. 4 weeks can change the way you play forever. I'm 𝗚𝗏𝗦𝗏𝗏, and I'm going to see you in the Gateway to Shred. Week number 1, exercise number 1. I wish you a lot of fun learning, practicing, and mastering the guitar. Cheers and power your progress. Bye. Now, if you have a lot of struggle with these kind of patterns, I highly recommend to practice them, for example, with the right hand only. So mute with your left hand and your right hand is doing. So you get an awareness and a feeling of what's going on in the right hand. This helped my playing a lot to get such a great awareness and understanding of the right hand, of what's going on here. I always love to do this once per day to use some sort of pattern or exercise and just practicing the right hand only. Alright, so much about some basic principles for the right hand. Now it's time to check out the whole intro section. Here we go. We are on the key of E mixolydian. Though later we will change to E minor for a really short amount of time. So, and we are starting off with this 𝙬𝙻 arpeggio. And here it's already really important to have straight alternate picking. So we have down, up, down, up, down, up. Then we're going to the first sequence, which goes like this. Where we have this kind of pedal note, fourth to second, third to second, and going down the E minor shape again. Then we're repeating the first shape, and now we're adding this section. This really cool, beautiful melody. 7, 6, 5, 4, 5, 6, 5, as seen as intervals. In frets we have 7, 6, oh, and well, 7, 6, nice, 7, 6, but here now, 9, 7, 9, 6. Now we're going to the first change in our right hand, because we are landing on the 9th fret on the D string with the downstroke, but then starting again with the 𝙬𝙻 shape. And now the E on the 7th fret of the A string we have to strike with an upstroke. So some of the alternate picking is now twisted to the point where we have the string skip from the D to the B string. Now we're coming to the trill section. And here I made one mistake in the past really often. I now start the next phrase with a downstroke. But this is messing up all of the picking, because when I start here with the downstroke, I now have to start the 𝙬𝙻, you see it's not working, the 𝙬𝙻 shape with the whole opposite stroke direction. So I'm now using here a concept which is called RDP. I've got this concept from my good buddy Martin Miller, and RDP stands for Rhythmical Depending Picking, which means that I'm forcing myself to a specific system. On every downbeat, 1, 2, 3, and 4, I have a downstroke, and on every upbeat, the ends in between the 1, 2, 3, and 4, I have an upstroke. And now we are on the 12/8 bar, and in this situation, this note here, the 10th fret of the B string, is the 3 end. Therefore, it's an end, so I have to start with an upstroke. So that was my mistake in the past. I got a little bit blended by the rhythm, always starting with a downstroke here because I thought this would be an accented note, but no, it's not. Here we're starting with an upstroke. And by that we can really nice and cleanly repeat this section with the same stroke direction like it is intended. So the whole first section gets repeated, and now in the last section we're going to that mild little shift to E minor by outlining in G major 9 arpeggio. And we got even E Dorian by going from the G major to A major. Dorian and Mixolydian, they are not so far away, they're pretty related to each other, so sound-wise we're not changing too much. We are only going from the major third to the minor third. The rest basically stays the same. Alright, and now it's time to practice this in the 6th level that I've prepared for you, from really slow for beginners to faster than the originals. Let's see what level you are. Write it in the comments, and now let's start practicing this really cool exercise for your picking precision. hope you liked this little video, and I hope I'm going to see you in my next video. Feel free to follow Justin Hombach for more education, and of course, leave a like and leave a comment. And I wish you a lot of fun, of course, learning, practicing, and mastering the guitar. This exercise definitely can help you by that. Cheers and power your progress. Bye.